just so the editor knows who you are, can you tell us your full name, your job title, and the company you represent?
Robert Kunold Jr., a managing partner of Foster Pepper.
And how do you spell your last name?
Kunold.
Great. You've just been nominated as one of the best places in the whole state of Washington to work.
All right.
How's that make you feel?
It's very nice. We're very appreciative. I know how they kind of discern that through staff responses, which makes it particularly nice.
Can you tell us a little bit about your company? What do you guys do?
Foster Pepper's law firm. We are over 100 attorneys in the state of Washington, and really full service firm. We do just about nearly all kinds of legal services. So everything from litigation, business, real estate, municipal finance. Really the only thing we don't do is personal injury and criminal defense type work. So. Yeah.
Cool. And can you tell us a short history of the company and when it got started and some of the milestones?
Yeah, it's early 1900s, 1906 I think is when we started. I think we just had our 100 year a couple of years ago. Variety of names through the years, but Foster Pepper now is what we go by. And actually this is Tom Foster's old office. The map behind me is, he used to have an island a place up in Desolation Sound, and so he put this map up here. Tom passed away quite a few years ago, about 10, 12 years ago. Lou Pepper's still around. I saw him just in the last year, and so we've kind of been growing over the last, I'd say, 10 years at a relatively good clip. We probably doubled in size over the last 12 years or so, 10, 12 years, which is modest growth, but it's kind of steady growth. We're doing very well these days.
What do you think's been the secret to the company's success?
A couple things. I'd say foremost the strength of the lawyers. We have a lot of very good lawyers who have not just local reputations but national reputations and national practices. And so that's kind of the cornerstone of our financial success. But it's also, I think, just the attitude of the people. It's a very friendly place. People are very happy to be here. Our attrition is very low. And so across the board, whether it's attorneys or staff or really anyone who's here, they're very happy to be here. And so we're very proud of that.
We're also doing a film about the CEOs of the Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you get in this business? Were you from a family of attorneys also?
No, my family of pilots actually, but my eyes weren't good enough, so I couldn't fly. I was actually an engineer by training, and so this was a second career for me. I worked at a large defense firm down in LA for about 5 years and realized that I wanted to do something more exciting. So I got an MBA and went back to law school and wanted to do business transactional work, and that's what I've been fortunate enough to do.
Was when you said flying, was your family's aviators, or
Mm-hmm.
they were?
Yeah.
We're doing a whole film called The Legends of Aviation.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, the culture of your organization, a lot of companies would love to be named as one of the best workplaces.
Right.
What are some of the recipes of success or things you do to help nurture a positive workplace?
We're very open with people. There's no hiding the ball or spinning. We really make sure people know what's going on, and I think both the attorneys and staff trust management, and that's very important. And it's incumbent on the management team, which isn't just me. It's Nancy Gento, our executive director, and her team, to be upfront and honest with people, treat people like adults, give them full information, and we do that a lot. We make sure people know what's going on, meet regularly with staff, and people appreciate it. They feel comfortable about how we're doing, particularly in these troubled times. People get nervous, and lack of information is as bad as misinformation. And so we're very upfront with people about how we're doing and how things are going, and they appreciate it. And that openness, I think, is a lot of what drives people being happy to be here.
What are some of the core values that are important to you and your organization?
Treat people like adults, expect them to behave consistent with that, give them all the information they need to do their job, treat them fairly. We have what we call a mutual respect policy, which sounds a bit corny and trite, but it's something that really influences how we treat people. We really do treat people with respect and make sure they have what they need to do their jobs, and in return, they perform. And so we're very happy with our workforce here. It's like I mentioned before, very low attrition, and that's good because we have good people, and they see that they're at a good place.
Now, the different CEOs that we've interviewed, they all have different philosophies of management style. Some like lead by the stick, some are more easygoing leaders. What's your philosophy of management style?
I would put myself more in the easygoing range, and part of that I think is because of the type of organization I'm managing. It's a professional services organization. We have 60 to 70 owners from time to time, all of whom are accomplished lawyers and think highly of themselves and think they know what we should be doing and shouldn't be doing. And so my management is necessarily one of kind of gaining a consensus amongst a whole bunch of people who have strong views about things. So I have to be a consensus builder, not one who drives by the stick, and that's good because that's kind of the way I view things anyway.
Now, the modern CEO is like the symbol of American success in a way. A lot of kids nowadays say, someday I want to become a CEO. Now, the modern CEO wears many hats. Sometimes you're like a coach or a cheerleader or a psychiatrist, but you also got to know numbers. How do you balance all these different hats that you wear?
Rely heavily on the management team that we have here. We have a very strong professional management team. I mentioned Nancy Gento earlier, our executive director. She and I are largely interchangeable. She has the respect of the attorneys. She plays a very important role. I still practice half-time, and so I get involved in my own transactions, and Nancy then takes the lead role on what's going on around here. So I rely heavily on Nancy, and Nancy's team is also very strong. We have Sinjin Braun, who's our CFO, very capable guy, Leslie Larson, who's marketing director, Lucas Clara of our systems, and Clark HR, and Kelly Blisky and Laura Johannes. I mean, we have this team of people that are extremely capable, that have been here a long time, that know how the organization works, and I rely heavily on them, and they play an active role in the firm, and staff looks up to them. They see their behavior, they see how they manage things, and they respect them. So it's very much a team effort around here.
Now, the baseball manager, Joe Torre, talks about the concept of character in either an individual or a team or an organization. And he says that during adversity or tough times is when the real character comes out,
right?
Versus easygoing times. Can you talk about the character of your team and your organization?
Yeah, we're doing things, I think, pretty much the same way we always have, that we haven't changed our approach to how we manage the business. I mean, 2008 was probably our best year ever. 2009 is not as good as 2008, but it's not that bad. But there's a lot of turmoil in the legal industry, and we hear, we read the press reports, we know what's going on in the industry, and there's a lot of layoffs and salary freezes, and we're not overreacting. We're minding our P's and Q's and trying to keep an eye on what's going on, and I would say we're managing a little more actively in terms of keeping on top of what's going on, but the approach and the mindset is the same, that we have good people, we have good clients, we have good attorneys, and if we just keep doing what we've been doing, we'll do fine, and that's what's happening. We aren't nervous, we aren't worried, we're chugging along just fine.
Now, you talked about your culture and your value system. The Puget Sound area we're doing this film called CEOs of Seattle. Is there anything unique about the culture of this area as an environment to run a business or to have a business, you think, versus like Denver or Chicago?
Not that I can see or think of. We're part of a group of firms called the Toledo Group, it's a group of 10 firms that are kind of Foster Pepper in Seattle, but similar type regional firms in other markets similar to Seattle, not the major financial centers. And we get together, we don't overlap our practices, and we get together just to share best practice, see what's going on, and we just had our meeting with that group. All the managing partners of that group got together a few weeks ago. They're all facing the same things, seeing the same things. Their markets, the way they describe them. I mean, there is some geographic variability in terms of what the focus of the industries are in that market. But you don't sense that there's anything unique or different. I personally don't think Seattle is that different than a lot of other markets. I think people react to the same sorts of pressures in the same sorts of way, really, no matter where they are.
Looking over your career with this company, can you think of proud moments?
Yeah, I mean, we faced a struggle in 2001 after the internet bubble burst, and we were a firm that at the time, like a lot of firms in Seattle, had probably gotten a little complacent